Morning.
Good morning.
Now, it's not all it sounds, is it, this? I mean, it sounds like a sort of children's production.
Yes, it's absolutely nothing to do with pea green boats and pushing the boat out anywhere. Actually, about it's an American play, and it's about two people who are very, very different. The owl, played by me, who is a sort of he thinks he's a writer, but is actually a clerk in a bookstore, and an actress in inverted commas, isn't it, really?
A good-hearted hooker.
Yes.
And you two.
Yes, and they sort of meet up in a... Well, I get her thrown out of her apartment, which is a problem, so she turns up on my doorstep and...
It's not a good start to the relationship, really, is
No,
it?
it's not, really. I mean, it doesn't get a lot better for quite some time.
Do you become pretty close in the end? Or is that a
Being
secret?
smutty, actually.
Yes, he is
Let's be
being
honest.
smutty. Well, physically, together quite early on, really, but emotionally not until a good way into the play. Basically work round to that.
There's a picture of you in the paper today. Have you seen this, Stephanie?
It's
Yes,
wonderful.
I have.
Can I show this? There we are. Daily Express. The lady with a glint in her eye and a fabulous fortune in her hand is actress Stephanie Lawrence, etc. You are, what, holding a diamond there?
Yes.
And
Mysterious.
looking not a little unlike a certain Marilyn Monroe.
Yes,
Can I
that's
just,
right.
and while we're on that photograph, the two gentlemen with you look a real bundle of fun. Don't they?
They were protecting me from anybody stealing the diamond. Actually, they were very sweet, but they had to look aggressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they certainly succeeded there. So what were you doing? Was that an exhibition in Birmingham?
Yes, I was promoting a new floppy disk for Mitsubishi.
I see. Oh, my goodness.
Computers
So
and
it was
all
an
that,
award
very
for being able to
brainy
say it
stuff.
at this time of day. And you came back in a fairly riotous fashion.
Yes, somebody offered me a lift back in a plane, a six-seater. Oh, it's just the wrong thing to do.
Not good
Last
weather
night,
for it, is it, really?
No, I left my heart in Biggin Hill. And a lot more.
Even more dicey than roller skating. Because you got a roller
much
skating
more.
injury, didn't you?
Yes, a pain in the bum I've got now, permanently.
Are you being serious, actually? Have you?
Yes, I am, yeah. It'll go, I think, eventually, but I have to have an injection, sort of like a...
That's because of the Starlight Express saga. I mean, I went
Yeah.
to see it recently, and
Yeah.
the stage is terrifying. I mean, it goes all the way around
That's
the
right.
theatre. Very narrow, and they really pelt round there.
They do, yes. It was
Did
an
you?
unfortunate missile that hit me.
What was the missile?
Really?
A
then?
person.
What?
Oh, I see.
Another skater?
Another person, yeah.
Oh, that sounded like an exciting performance. I was
Yes. I landed on the stage and I was skidding forwards and I could see the front row of the people and they all went, I just stopped just in time, so I was lucky, but it
Yeah.
hurt.
Well, we should talk again in a moment. But right now, I want to tell you about the residents of York.
Waltham St. Lawrence. She's 8 today. Picking some flowers. Pretty girl. Happy
Very
birthday.
nice. And please wish our nephew Craig Collo, 7 years old on the 15th of January, happy birthday. That's from Aunties Marjorie and Heather and Uncle Jim and Uncle John. He's from Holmhead in Ayrshire.
Good. Is it the first time that you have actually sort of done this sort of thing? I mean, I think of you as musical.
That's right, no, my first play.
Terrifying, eh?
Terrifying, yes. I wish I had auto cue.
Yeah.
What's it like learning the lines, actually? Because there's just no way I could ever begin to learn lines that you need to for a play.
It's terrifying, but I think if you don't, as long as you don't learn it parrot fashion, I think it arrives, doesn't it, the more you run through it.
I guess so. It's extraordinary that... I mean, what I find terrifying is learning words to songs, which is what I can't
that's
do.
easy.
Yeah, but no, that's what singers say. They say, oh, it's so easy to learn the lines of songs, but a song, when you're singing it, you know, if you drive, what do you do? I mean, if you're acting, you can sort of say anything you like, really. But
Yeah,
a song,
la,
you have to go sort of la 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 la.
Has that happened actually to you? Because you write your own songs, don't you?
Yes, I do. And I once sang one of my songs on Pebble Mill at 1, live, and all that went through my head was, what happens if I forget the lines? What happens if I forget the words? You know, there are so many million people looking, and consequently, I forgot to smile.
You're looking so concerned and worried.
It's rather embarrassing.
Dried on stage, then, in the play?
No, it never actually dried that I didn't say. I've said the wrong line and haven't quite been able to remember what I meant to say, but then you get out of it. You know, there are always ways out of it.
But can you get out of it if what you say is a crucial line for the next actor who's going to follow you?
Yeah, because then the next actor usually says something like, weren't you going to ask me about...
Oh, really?
And
Does
you
that
go,
happen
yes.
quite a lot?
Not a lot, but it happens
It's not
you know,
unknown.
from time to time, not unknown, yeah.
And what prompts you to do something like this? This is just going on a what, a small tour around the country,
Yeah, it's
out on the Pussycat.
It's either a 9 or 11-week tour, and some very nice places we're
Yes.
going to.
What is it that makes you attracted to doing something like this when, you know, one minute you're doing Doctor Who, I know that's past now, but or a new series of All Creatures Great and Small.
Or
Why?
a very peculiar practice. Okay, yes, sorry.
What's that?
Oh, this is a new series which is coming out at some point.
I
Sorry,
see.
couldn't
And
resist
little
that.
no.
It's a very good
No,
series.
you
I
don't
play a
usually
doctor.
lose the chance, do you? Well, we'll talk about that in a while,
Okay,
'cause obviously.
yes.
But what prompts you suddenly to go on a comparatively small tour with a new play?
Well, it's really that I haven't done an awful lot of theatre, actually. I started out in rep, but not playing big parts. And it wasn't until television that I started playing major parts. And so that it's quite nice to do something like a tour that is not the West End, it's a good play, and is playing to nice houses, nice theatres. And it's a nice way to sort of become more at home in theatre.
Yes, and what's it like working with Stephanie Lawrence?
Well, we've had one day of
Okay.
rehearsal, but that was very good. Excellent.
Pretty exciting, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
We
We
broke
wandered
our
through
barriers.
the entire play.
But you're also doing something else than me. You're in Panto, aren't you?
Yes, I'm doing 2 shows a day down at Wimbledon.
What's that? What's the Panto?
Aladdin.
Oh, yes, and Bob Carol G's,
Yes,
isn't that, is he?
Spit
And
the Dog.
Spit the Dog. So you're not likely to come out with sort of magic lamps and things in the middle of a
Well, I
rehearsal
may,
out
I
on the
may well
Pussycat.
come on stage on the opening night and say, hello, boys and girls.
Yeah, confusing sort of business. And are they still keeping your job open at the tax office in Twickenham?
I hope they are. You never know when I may need it.
Yeah, you
I
must
had a-
explain that, actually.
Well, it was when I went through a very bad time work-wise in acting, and I got a temporary job at the tax office in Twickenham, and I had a marvellous time there. And indeed, I almost, because it didn't look like I was ever going to be employed again, I almost joined the civil service. And the only thing that prevented me was the fact that when I'd got the temporary job, I'd fibbed about the number of O-levels I had.
Really? You put
So
two
when they
instead of
gave me
one.
the application form, it said, produce your certificate. And I thought, ah. So I had to take it back and say, no, sorry, I've changed my mind. I really do want to be an actor.
Mhm. And didn't your colleagues sort of cover for you when you went for an audition?
Yes, that's right, which was for Love for Lydia, in fact.
And was that the making of you?
Yeah, it really
wasn't
was the sort of big break.
Mhm.
And what about you, Stephanie? Have you ever done any weird and wonderful jobs when you've been resting?
Not that working in the tax office is particularly weird and wonderful. I
No,
think
we don't
tax
want to offend
inspectors are
anybody who works in
marvellous.
tax offices, particularly.
No, I haven't really, no.
You went straight into the old showbiz,
Yes,
didn't
I
you?
did.
Very early. I mean, your first thing was at Watford when you were about 9 or 10.
Yes, that's right. Watford, then I did the Nutcracker at the Festival Hall. Then I went abroad a lot, because I'd never been abroad before. I went everywhere.
Mhm.
Got that off my chest and went straight into the West End roller skating in a play.
What was that then?
Only I didn't speak. It was Forget-Me-Not Lane, Peter Nichols' play. Do you know of it? It's a great play, wonderful play.
Well, what of all the things you've done, you really have done some spectacular things. What most grabs you with hindsight now?
It's very close, Marilyn and Evita, I think.
Yeah.
They must have been utterly exhausting things to do. I mean, on Evita, you were virtually on stage all the time.
All the time, and Marilyn, yes. I like to be on all the time. You know, you don't notice that it's exhausting, it's just interesting. I don't like being off and waiting to go on. You know, I like to be busy performing all the time.
And what do you do when you're actually off in these really big productions
Yeah.
and you go off and you're not going to come back for another 15, 20 minutes? Where do you go? To your dressing room and sit there?
And have a cup of tea, yeah.
It could be miles away, couldn't it? I mean, you've got a long hall.
Only in
setting off to come
Starlight
back.
it was a long way away.
And
It's
that was on
about
roller
8
skates as well, was
flights,
it?
yes.
Did you presumably kept your skates on?
That's right, yes.
So did you come down the stairs?
Yep.
Did
You
you?
get very fast, actually. After about the first 2 months on the stoppers,
Mm-hmm.
you can get very fast.
You're a bit shaky on your legs when you haven't got roller skates on.
Yeah, well, it's very strange at the end of the evening when you've taken your roller skates off and you go down the stairs and you go to push off down the corridor and you realise you've got high heel shoes on.
Yeah. We'll chat again in a moment. Right now it's time for a break.
He thinks he's a dog, called Fido, so it's not surprising.
Ah, yes.
But the first thing he saw when he's a black and white kitten, the first thing he saw when he came into the house was our black and white dog. So he immediately thought he was a dog, so he sleeps with the dog and is in love with the dog. The dog in love with him as well.
But he's not alone, is he? He has got some little friends.
Oh, he's got 3, yes, he's got 3 friends, yeah. 4 cats we have and 2 dogs.
We used to have a French poodle called Fido, spelled P-H-Y-D-E-A-U-X. Rather a sophisticated animal.
Like we.
Yeah, and a mongrel, you know.
Well, yes,
Have a
can we
go.
all enter?
Oh, I'm afraid you can't, Nick.
Really?
No, not the relatives and
Oh.
friends.
Stephanie has a penguin.
Yes.
Not all
Not
the
at
time.
home.
Not at home.
No, in the zoo.
Yeah, I have a
But I
cat called
pay for his
Oedipus.
food.
Yes.
You have a cat called Oedipus. That's
Yes.
a complex name.
Oh,
Yeah, very sharp.
Why is your cat called Oedipus?
well, Oedipus, you see. Maybe I know, so
I
I've got to
know.
ask
I
you
told
that.
you, Boulogne in America. That's
Boulogne.
about the one-day trip to Boulogne in America.
But
But
Stephanie's done the business, haven't you, in Greece?
Yes, well, no, I've been to Athens. I went there to see a friend of mine, Aliki Eurovilikiakis. Who was playing Evita over there, and I went to see her open. She was very nervous about it, and I had a very nice time, but I got robbed in the hotel, which was
Really?
very pleasant, yeah.
Oh, well, it's not getting any easier for the Greek tourist, well, isn't it?
Poor old Greece.
Yeah. You know, apart from that, you can have a belting good time, can't you, in Greece?
I did enjoy myself anyway.
You talk about Evita there, but I'd like to talk about Marilyn for a moment. Can you still do the sort of...
I just noticed that you've got a beauty spot just where
Who has?
Marilyn... You have?
Have I?
Yes, just where Marilyn had one.
Where?
Just there.
Oh,
Go on, give us a
Do you
pout.
not touch it again? Yeah, that's
Pretty
it.
little boy.
Yeah. Do you still sort of have the mannerisms? Because you had to develop mannerisms, didn't you? Marilyn mannerisms.
Yes, well, I've lost them now. It took a long time to lose them, but they've
But go
gone
on,
now.
go on, do,
Oh,
just
no.
go on,
I
do a
knew
quick...
he'd do this. I knew he'd do this.
Go on. It's nice and close up. Let's have
setting
a
you
lip
up,
curl
really,
and all.
you see.
Go on.
We'll get the nation going.
Good morning, Britain. Hello.
Applause for Stephanie Lawrence.
Goodbye and applause.
Great stuff. Did that become sort of spontaneous for a while, instinctive, that you're always doing that?
Well, I noticed when I was being interviewed for about 8 months after, I was still doing it. I was still pulling my top lip down. It was terrible. But it's gone now. So
Yeah.
don't encourage me to get it back.
It's good day. You were really into that character, actually, weren't you?
Yeah. I enjoyed it. Very sad lady, but I enjoyed it.
Quite a daunting role to play, actually, because she's so photographed and has such sort of devoted fans that it must have been quite difficult.
Yeah. I was very pleased that the public accepted it and enjoyed it as much as they did, you know, because you have to be very careful with somebody like that who's on a pedestal, you know. But it was very good for
Do you think
me.
at the end of the day that's the role most associated with you?
Well, after doing that little
Photo in the
appearance
paper?
yesterday,
Yeah, which we'll show
so many
you,
people
actually,
came
at
up to
home,
me
because we showed it earlier.
and said that that's what they remember me for, so it's good.
It's quite
Yes.
amazing to be asked to make a personal appearance as a character you've played
Yeah.
on stage, actually.
Yes.
I bet you've had to do that, haven't you, as Doctor Who in your time?
Well, you automatically, yes, I suppose I have, yeah. You know, they always want you to go along in your costume, which you try and resist as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But when I first started doing personal appearances, when I did them because I was Tristan in All Creatures Great and Small, you go along there and you automatically slip into that character because it's the easiest thing. I mean, people wanted me to say, oh, I'm just going to nip down the pub for a pint of beer, even though I don't really drink beer. You see.
And
So
did
I did it.
And did they ask you to kind of come and deliver their calves and things, or, you know, my puppy's got a dodgy
I've
leg?
got a sick dog, they'll say, yeah, I've got a sick dog, can you have a look at it for me?
Bet you got sick of that sort of
No.
thing, actually. Anyway, we'll chat again in a moment. Right now is coming up, or a new show called
Yes,
A Very Peculiar
called
Practice.
A Very Peculiar Practice. see.
Yes.
Which is, I play a doctor actually, but a medical doctor this time.
So you
And it's
graduated from animals?
yeah,
then?
it's a great series. I've no idea when the BBC are going to show it, but we completed it at Christmas.
So you have done it?
Yeah, we finished
Yeah.
it now.
And what about All Creatures?
Well, I think probably that's the end of All Creatures. We did a special this past summer, which went out on Christmas Day, and it's very difficult. If we go on much longer, this last special was set in 1949, if we go on much longer, we're going to get into the situation of doing it at the time when the television series started to be made, so
Yeah,
we can then play the real people and get other actors in to play our television persona. So it's,
And what's the ambition then? What's left? I mean, I get the impression you'd quite like to be a gunslinger or Rambo or...
well, I don't know about I don't know, not a Rambo, but a nasty, you know, but not a gun-firing nasty, but just someone who's mean. But no one ever cast me as that.
'Cause I seem to remember reading somewhere that you didn't like boys portraying an English wimp or something.
Yeah, that's very true. I seem to have
I get fed up with it as well.
Yeah, I know, Nick, but it's,
Before Wincy
it's
gets
popular anyway, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
you can't knock it. But there was a time when I seem to have got cast as English public school boys, and I actually went to a secondary modern school, which is a bit of a strange thing for a secondary modern schoolboys to get cast as. But I seem to have been getting out of it recently, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
And of course, Stephanie, you always do obviously very quite sort of sexy vampish roles as well. Presumably you've got no objection to that.
No. Yes, they have all been a bit like that, yeah. No, I haven't.
This play's not going to change that.
No,
I
I gather that, which is called the Owl and Pussycat, and it's about to go on tour, we ought to say.
Yes,
haven't we?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
A final word about Georgia.
Oh, yes. With great sense of timing, she started to walk on her birthday, which was Christmas Day.
Oh.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's now, what, just one then?
She's 1 in about 3 weeks now.
And is
She's
she
great.
okay?
Yeah, she's perfect. She eats quite a lot. She's not fat,
Mm.
the doctor said. She's
She-
absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But she's certainly not delicate.
Yeah. And, really?
Hello, Georgia.
And you're pulling your weight, are you, at home? Nappies?
Yeah, I did very well with the nappies, Nick.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And I still am. You know, I like to keep my hand in. I quite enjoy it, actually.
Yeah, I must say I got a kick out of it as well. Anyway, give our love to Georgia and to Sandra.
Oh, well, can I get my shoes in the shop before I go?
Oh, God, I forgot to mention these awful, lovely shoes. Purple shoes.
Just to show that even if my mind is addled, my colour coordination is impeccable.
Yeah, absolutely enchanting. Thanks for being with us today, and as I say, love to Sandra and Georgia, and
Great. Thank you.
thank you for being with us today, Steph. It's
you.
good to see you. Good luck with Alan Pussycat.
Thank you.
Here's Wincy.